What is up guys, Andy Forestine Runner here, back with another video for you today, and today I want to talk about how you guys can get the most out of your taper for your upcoming marathon to ensure that you hit that start line in the best shape possible. Tapering is a funny thing. Half of the population that seems to train for a marathon love the taper period. They've worked really hard over the last few weeks to ensure that they hit that start line in the best shape possible. And when taper time comes, they unintentionally take their foot off the gas a little bit too much because they think they can now put their feet up, rest and relax, and start on the start line a little bit sluggish. Things don't go to plan. I've been there for that one. And on the other hand, you've got the people that absolutely love training and train a little bit too hard, close to the race, get to the start line and are a little bit dead-legged. So when they go off, their legs are a little bit heavy. Also been there on that one. So today I want to talk about kind of the balance between the two and some rough guidelines that you can follow that will hopefully ensure that you guys will have a great race on your race day. Now, full disclosure from the start, obviously I'm not a coach nor am I qualified in running in any way, shape or form. However, as I've just alluded to, I have been through a lot of training blocks and a lot of tapers, and I'm starting to understand the pros and the cons of both sides of the coin, and also things that have worked and hopefully worked for me that will hopefully work for you. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay guys, so the first thing I want to talk about today is managing your mileage during the taper. Now this is pretty key to ensuring you have fresh legs, should we say, on the start line of your marathon day. As I said before, you've got the two sides of the coin. You've got people that go, well, hey, it's taper time and I'm going to completely relax and chill out. And you've got the other people that train way too hard, way too close to the race. Now, from that perspective, as I said, I've been on both sides of those coins. I have hit taper time and gone, get in there. I've done all my training, kick the feet back and relax. And I have hit the start line feeling sluggish and rubbish. Now, there are lots of general rules out there as to the mileage reduction as a percentage. The rule that I've always followed, I always do a 2-week taper. If I'm doing a half marathon, I might do like a week or maybe 9-10 days, do my last hard workout 10 days out, just as a rough idea. But from a marathon perspective, I always do 2 weeks, and my longest long run is always 3 weeks out from the race. So technically you could say your taper starts 3 weeks out, but I like to think of it as a 2-week taper. From there, in the penultimate week before the race, I'm looking to reduce my mileage by about 80%, and in the final week I want my mileage to be 50% of my average weekly miles. So let's say, for example, that I am running 60 miles a week, which I have been pretty close to in a lot of my weeks during this training plan when I've not been on a race week or injured. And I'm looking to reduce it in the first week by 80%. So I'm going to be running roughly around about 48 miles. So then I look at that and go, oh, okay, I'm not going to be too strict on it, but I know roughly where I'm hitting at. So I'm not going to squabble too much if I hit anywhere from 45 miles to 48, 49. That is about roughly where I want to be looking. And then in the final week, of course, half of 60 is 30 miles. So that's what I'm going to be shooting for. Now, from that perspective, that gives me a nice gradual gradient reduction. That's not me training, and then falling off the end of the earth and basically doing nothing, a few easy runs and job done. The key with managing your mileage, not only in reduction in volume, is of course reduction in intensity. Now, reduction in intensity, I mean sort of reducing your interval workouts, thresholds, tempos, all of that, the stuff you've been doing in your plan. A lot of people seem to then think they can just kick back and run easy. Actually, it's not beneficial for you to do that, because all you're doing is letting your legs get a little bit sluggish. You're just running easy. You do actually want to continue some interval work, and a lot of people, including myself, do interval work in the week of the marathon. 5 days out from the race, for example, my race, which is coming up, I will be doing a very small 5 by 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off session. It's 10 minutes worth of work. It's nothing, but it's just enough to keep my legs feeling sharp, fast, and enough to get all of the muscle fibers working exactly how I want them to be. If you're just running easy, you're going to feel a little bit flat, put it that way. So from that perspective, it's not only about a reduction gradually and gently in your mileage, but it's also about a reduction in your intervals and your sessions, but as I said, not cutting them out completely. So that, guys, is the first tip. Okay guys, so the second thing that I want to talk about is stretching, foam rolling, recovery, all of that good stuff, all the stuff you've been doing in your training weeks leading up to this point. Again, a lot of people hit the taper period. I hear it all the time and they say, I can rest, I can put my feet back now. And it's kind of like, yes, you can enjoy the hard work and you can reap the rewards hopefully in your upcoming race, but you still have to take care of your body. Don't forget, if you are also still doing tempo sessions and intervals in your final couple of weeks, obviously cut down, but if you are, you're still putting your muscles through a good rigorous workout, and of course they need time to recover. Stretching and rolling for me is always key during my training plan, and that does not change. Now, of course, you can go completely the other way and stretch and roll too much. And that can ultimately have a detrimental effect. So my advice to anyone is just keep doing what you're doing. Don't ease off on it, but don't overdo it. There is obviously a time and a place for your stretching and rolling. My times, I stretch after every run, and if it's an easy run, I'm a bit hit and miss as to whether I foam roll or not. I tend to do my calves, quads and hamstrings as a rule after any run, but other than that, I don't do much more. But any form of workout, I will do my back, my legs, inside of my legs, out IT band, all of it. I will do the full shebang and spend a good half an hour after I've got back from my run doing that, and I will just continue to do so. So from that perspective, make sure you keep up with your stretching and foam rolling. Tip number 3, nutrition and hydration. It is key and possibly one of the hardest things to do as a runner, that it's not your job. Guilty. I make no secret on this channel that my diet is okay to good. Put me in that bracket. It's not disastrous by any means. I do eat pretty well, but it's not excellent. I could eat better. And nutrition going into taper time is key for various reasons. Number one, obviously you want to give your body what it needs to recover and top you up with fuel all the time to make sure that your glycogen stores are getting topped up, ready for race day. And obviously your muscles are recovering with all the goodness that you're putting into your body. And secondly, try not to get ill. I've got ill on taper week a fair few times, and that's been down to feeling a bit run down from training, but also putting rubbish into my body. And ultimately the saying goes, what you put in is what you get out. That applies so much to diet, it's unbelievable. You will notice that you run so much better when your diet is good compared to if you're putting fatty takeaway foods in your body. And if you're doing that a lot in taper and you've got an attitude of, right, I've trained, I can put my feet back, eat whatever I want, it's going to come back to bite you in the backside. Nutrition is key, of course. And not only that, hydration. Drinking, you need to be well hydrated for the marathon. Obviously you don't want to overhydrate, but you want to be keeping drinking. And something that I do, and this is just something that I do, and it's up to you whether you wish to do it or not, but from about day 3 to 4 out, every day I will have an electrolyte tablet in my drink. I'll make sure I have electrolytes every day just to make sure that I'm feeling fully hydrated and everything is in good working order. I don't do that every day. I have an electrolyte tablet after every workout, sometimes after every run, but those last 4 days, whether I'm running or not, I will always have one. So nutrition and of course hydration is key. Tip number 4, guys, is simply don't think that your hard work is done and take your eyes off the prize. As I've said to you previously in a couple of the points, a lot of people just seem to kick back and think that job is done. It's really not. This is now as key as any of your build weeks that you've been doing and recovery weeks that you've been doing. This period will make or break a good race or not. Now, for those of you that really care whether you have a good race or not, it is key to ensure that you do the best taper possible. So things like you're focusing still on your workouts, you're focusing still, as I said, on your stretching and recovery, your nutrition, and you're starting to do a bit of visualization on the race. You're mentally preparing yourself for race day. I can't stress enough, and in the past I've done this myself and been there. I have kicked up, put my feet back, and really not given a monkey's what happens in taper week, and it's just terrible. You need to stay focused, you need to stay on the ball, you need to stay thinking about keeping your legs turning over in those workouts, you need to be thinking about your form, not letting your form go sloppy. You're not just kicking your feet back, going out there and just running. Yes, it's a time to enjoy ourselves. Yes, it's a time to appreciate what we've done, kick back and relax a little bit. But it's about not taking your eyes off the prize. Mentally at this point, a lot of us can really lose focus. And then come race day, you're kind of like suddenly confronted with this daunting task of 26.2 miles, and you've realised that you're not mentally ready for it, and actually this is the time to get mentally ready for it. So whatever you do, guys, do not take your eyes off the ball. And the fifth and final tip I'm going to give you guys is to get any final preparation done now, because you do not want to be sat there 2-3 days before the race and go, oh my gosh, I've got to do X, Y, and Z, especially not the day before. Now, I've been there the day before, kind of sat there about 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon gone, I've got a marathon tomorrow, I need to go and get X, Y, and Z ready, realised I don't have gels, realised I don't have X, Y, and Z, having to message friends saying, have you got any spare, can I borrow this, can I do that? And actually, that's done me no favours. I then go to bed a little bit stressed, can't sleep very well, and that doesn't set me up well for the next day. And I gather that it's going to be the same for you guys. We all, as humans, want to be as prepared as possible, and the saying goes, prior preparation prevents poor performance, the 5 Ps. So ultimately, if we can get ourselves ready beforehand, it is ideal. So I'm talking about things like preparing your fueling. Do you have your gels? Do you have your hydration? Are you taking any sort of tailwind or nutrition in your hydration? Are you wearing a backpack? Have you got everything washed? Is it all ready? Your race kit, have you got everything? You know what you're wearing on race day? Have you got your anti-chafing stick? Have you got all of that? Your race day bag, have you got your bag packed, or have you got your bag sorted? Do you know what you're taking? Do you need to take spare clothes? Do you need to take food? Because you're going to be near a finish line that isn't near a shop, and you want to get some good food in straight after the marathon to allow your body to recover and then binge eat later. It's things like that I'm talking about, just the general what I would call simple things, but the things that we tend to forget. Prior preparation prevents poor performance, as I've said, and being prepared for a marathon is key. Do not let it get to the final hour to get your preparation sorted. So guys, I hope that helps. The only other thing that I can think about chucking in there is make sure you get enough sleep. Obviously, sleep is key. We are all different. I like 8 hours. If I don't have 8 hours, I don't function. On race week, I do try and get a little bit more, get to bed early. Other than that, guys, I feel that I have covered everything that I need to hopefully ensure that you guys have a smooth and successful taper period. If, of course, you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and do consider subscribing to the channel if you are new here. I would really appreciate it. And of course, I will see you next time. Until then.